start the All-Star game in 1982 in Olympic Stadium with 4 other teammates on the team and 3 of them on the field at that time. I mean, that was, from a very just personal standpoint, that was a height of my, from a team standpoint, from an on-the-field playing standpoint. It was the 4 games in a row up until in 1981, the 2-hitter against the Mets, and then the 2 games against Steve Carlton, and then the game against Jerry Royce in Game 3 of the League Championship Series. We all understand, we all know what happened at the end of that series, but those 4 games leading up to that were the best games that I pitched consecutively in crucial games. And the best team. It's kind of funny because we old timers, you know, we think of those teams in the late 70s and early 80s, and we know how good we were. And we know how good the 94 team was and that era of ball player. I think to figure out who the best team was, we need a best out of 7 series.
And I don't want to leave Jose out of that equation because the 2003 Montreal Expos, especially the second half of the year up until September, the 4-game sweep of the Philadelphia Phillies to tie, 3-way tie for the wild card race on September 1st. It was the Philadelphia Phillies, the Florida Marlins, and the Montreal Expos. People started pouring back to the stadium. People started. I interviewed Alex Anthopoulos 3 years ago for the Montreal Gazette, and he was a fan. Not a fan. He was working for the Expos on a part-time basis at that point, and he and I had the same exact anecdote. You guys left Montreal. You went to a series. I think it was in Florida. I think right after that, and I wanted to go see the game, and there were no, satellite stuff on TV. So I went to go try and get into the bar Champs downtown to see it, and he and I had the same story. Basically, we were both there. We both could not get in that night. People were starting to flock back to the game of baseball in Montreal. You guys are really changing things around that season. And then obviously the September call-ups didn't come. You guys didn't get the backup. I've heard that from other players that you guys were just worn down in September. You didn't get that help with the 40-man roster. If you would have gotten 1 or 2 players, and by the way, the Marlins go on, they win that World Series, and that happened, obviously. If you guys get 3-4 players, what would it have taken, do you think, for you guys to finish that season off? Because it looked like it was going to be special.
It definitely, it was very tough to swallow the last month. Mainly we were expecting some call out because our pitching staff was beat up. Those type of games like early August, late August. You kind of go to the bullpen a lot, trying to do the mix and matches against other teams. And our pitching staff was kind of beat up a little bit. And they were like looking forward to September just to get some rest. Maybe 1 or 2 days could help a lot. But never came. We battled. We didn't put excuses. We came out there, did our best, but it wasn't enough. But definitely, that year we have a lot of fun. A lot of fans came back to the stadium and support us. But I thought we were going to be right there at the end. I remember that when we swept the Phillies here, and we were like 3 games up, I think. We went to Miami, we lost all 4, and we came back and we were down in the second spot. But hey, it's baseball, and but it was very, very tough last month for us that year. But that's how it is.
And just to add to that, I can remember I was talking to Brian Snyder, and at the same time, and he was on the phone. I was in New York, and he was calling. We were talking about something. He said, "They're not going to spend a dime on us. They're not going to get anybody. We can't get anybody. If we just had 1 pitcher, we'd have a great shot. 2 pitchers, I mean, that probably put you over the top." And so I can remember just a specific reaction at the time, just exactly what I was talking about. It just, everybody was, just give us some help. And anyway, so I don't want to slight those guys. They were right there.
You did you got Todd Zeal, right, in the middle of the year, the veteran third baseman. That helped a little bit, I guess, right, Jose? Todd Zeal, yeah, former Cardinal, Met, third baseman, that helped. You got Orlando Cabrera was shortstop, Jose at second. Brian Schneider, Michael Barrett behind the plate. Vladimir, Brad Wilkerson in center field. And I'm blanking on the first baseman, 2003? No, it wasn't Leaf Stevens.
Will Cordero.
Will Cordero, you reacquired. Will Cordero was playing. Will was part-time with somebody else. Yeah, Jose, help Jose out, guys. Come on, you're Expo fans. Not David Segui. No, 2003, first baseman. Who was it? Premier but, 2003. No, Wilkerson was in center field. Vladimir in right. Who was in left?
It was mostly Cordero and I think Wilkerson.
Seguino? No. All right, yell it out if you remember. D'autres questions? More questions?
Est-ce qu'il y a des questions en français aussi, là? Soyez pas gênés. Si les gens veulent parler à José ou à Steve Rogers.
Là, c'est juste pour vous montrer comment que le projet des expos de revenir aujourd'hui a beaucoup fait de chemin depuis les 3 dernières années. Mathieu avec Expo Nation, Marc, la communauté, la générosité de tout le temps, les anciens expos qui sont là. On est en train de partir en bas de l'échelle, on revient, on repart, mais là on repart et on s'en va au plan numéro 2 avec M. Coder. Ici, tous les gens qui sont ici avec nous, c'est spécial Perry qui a tout organisé ça. Je tiens à féliciter tout le monde qui est ici, les petits, les moyens, les grands, toutes les générations qui sont ici. C'est très important parce que vous savez qu'il y a une génération qui a manqué des expos qui ne sont pas là. Les petits ne connaissent pas ça. Ils ne connaissent pas aussi le parc Jarry, le gazon naturel. Quand on va revenir avec un stade au centre-ville, tout ça va repartir avec nos enfants, nos pères, nos grands-pères qui sont encore là. C'est spécial, puis moi je sais que on s'en va vers le haut, puis on recommence, puis ça s'en va à vitesse.
Poser la question à Steve. Steve, 3 years ago when Evenco decided to bring the Blue Jays to play at Olympic Stadium for pre-games, they would have been happy with 20,000 people per game. They did not know exactly how the fans would react. I want to know your thoughts on the first year and your thoughts now after 3 years of this.
Well, Mark, there's no doubt that there was a question mark as to exactly how it would be received the first year. And it was kind of a well-kept secret around baseball. I mean, nobody really even knew this was going to happen at the end of spring training. It was not highly thought of as a major event. And then they started looking at the ticket sales, and they started looking at the advance, and then as soon as the game started, and I had the opportunity to come up here and be a part of that, it was an eye opener to everybody, and it was an absolute natural to have, the second year, and with how things got better and better and better. Well, now we've got the third year under our belt. And the message that it has delivered, and it was designed to deliver, is that Montreal is ready for a franchise. Okay, that's what it's delivered. Okay. It's delivered that thought. That doesn't take away the responsibility of Montreal and the people that move, the movers and the shakers here in Montreal, of having to meet the same criteria as any city would have to meet. They've got to put together the financing, the corporate backing, and they've got to do all of that. Stadium, the location. I think they're so far down the road that 3 years ago, nobody ever would have envisioned. And so these 3 years absolutely have put Montreal back on the map for Major League Baseball to consider as an expansion or an acquisition city.
Est-ce qu'il y a d'autres questions?
My question is from Mr. Rogers. Having been a high-profile figure in the organization for so many years, if Montreal would get the event that Montreal would get a franchise, you having the experience working for the league, I think you were involved with the Players Association. I believe it's very important for any sport organization to recruit or at least to have old players having involved with the franchise. Would you consider having a president job or some type of position with the organization so people can relate to the old fans and the new fans and the history of the team?
Again, I've already put my name in the hat for the presidency, but I mean, no. If Montreal were to get a franchise back, what you see the guys that are here partaking in ExposFest, Jose and the others, you know, it's exactly what all the really great organizations do. They bring back their former players, spring training. They bring them back around. They sprinkle the major leagues during the year for just here, just whatever it might be. They hired them into the organization to teach the Expos way of developing talent. In other words, that's what the good organizations do. I would expect, given how great the Montreal Expos minor league system was for so many years, that they would absolutely follow that same pattern. So would I believe I would definitely like to play a part if and when they get the franchise here. But that's no different than Jose and any of the other guys that are here. And it would be expected to be the way they would want to do things. So absolutely I would be interested.
Alors, on pourrait peut-être faire une dernière question ou deux. Une dernière? Le boss dit une dernière. Monsieur?
Yes, Steve. I was just wondering, what do you think Tim Raines' chances are next year being the Hall of Fame? And Jose, do you think Vladdy Guerrero will make it to the Hall of Fame? Thanks.
I have had the pleasure of making this statement to a lot of people over the years that I had the pleasure and the privilege of, for 7 plus years, every time I walked out and set foot on the mound, I had 3 Hall of Famers on the field with me, all for 7 years in a row. And I had Gary Carter catching me, God rest his soul. I had Andre Dawson in the outfield. And I always include Tim Raines in that. Absolutely, I believe Tim Raines deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I believe he's going to be elected to the Hall of Fame. And then the third guy, everybody forgets that Tony Perez was here 77, 78, 79. Then Raines was here 80 and on. So I had the 4 guys, but I had 3 guys on the field every day. And I absolutely include Tim Raines in that.
And Jose, before you talk about Vladdy, some people may not remember, but Tim Raines was actually a coach for a little bit towards the end of the Expos franchise, right? Did you find him a good resource, benefit? What was it like having him in the uniform with the Expos at the end? And then obviously your Vladimir Guerrero thoughts.
Always is good to have people with that kind of knowledge in your ball club. Definitely helps, in every aspect of it. I think, team was with us at the end of that year, and just his personality alone can help him up. I mean, forget about all his knowledge. It's just having him around is just unbelievable. So I think, my personal thoughts on that is just every player should play in the big league should be in the Hall of Fame. This is not. It's a really. I mean, you need I don't want to say you need special skills to make the big leagues, but it definitely takes a lot mentally and physically. I think that alone, for that alone, you have to be in the Hall of Fame. But do what? I had a chance to play with Vladimir. I respect him a lot. I think my time with him, he made me a better player because he was good to have him hitting behind me. So that helps. That helps. My numbers were helped big time because Vladimir was hitting behind me. He throws me fastball. The guy cannot hit. Let's take care of this guy. We won't have to worry about Vladimir. But I put my numbers too, so they pay for that too. Anyway, Vladimir was to me definitely him and Tim Raines both need to be there. Looking forward to that, build that. Looking forward to see them both on that podium and really enjoying the moment. And for us as a fan, I'm a big fan of both of them. For us as a fan, as a baseball, sport, they both need to be there. And that's my personal opinion. But I gotta be. I feel blessed that I have the chance to play a lot of years with Vladimir. I got to see him go